400 fun facts in 1 hour? Subscribe to Zarpado, we're starting. The name Xbox comes from DirectX, Microsoft's graphics technology. It was originally going to be called Direct Xbox, but they cut it short. Some bees sleep by chewing on twigs to keep from falling if it's windy. They literally hang themselves to sleep. Henry Barons was only 2.5 feet tall, but he lived in total style. There's a famous photo of him dancing with his cat. The shortest national anthem is Japan's. Kimi Gayo has only 32 characters, short and to the point. A restaurant projects its dishes in 3D on the table so customers can see what their food will be like. A painting hanging in a hallway was valued at 5 million euros. It was by Cimabue, a 13th century Italian master. Howda One, a Chinese village, was abandoned and swallowed by nature. Now it looks like an enchanted forest. ELO's Mr. Blue Sky has been named the happiest song in the world by several studies. Smoke, the grumpy cat, is a celebrity with an online store and an Instagram account, and he's always in a bad mood. The world's oldest pencil is a lipstick, found on the roof of a 17th century house. Manchester created special lanes for those who use their phones while walking. Yes, there are already smartphone highways. The car designed by Homer Simpson was brought to life, complete with eccentric accessories. A time-lapse of a pepper plant shows its development in 115 days, from seed to fruit. Jupiter has lunar eclipses every 42 hours thanks to its multiple moons, and sometimes 3 occur at once. George Harmony recreates sounds from movies like Ratatouille using drums, voice, and everyday objects. Look at the 16th century prophet, whose cryptic predictions continue to be interpreted and debated, associated with historical events. Chang and Eng, the original Siamese twins, were born in Thailand and gave their name to this condition. Jonathan the tortoise has been teaching longevity lessons from St. Helena Island for over 186 years. Your eyes get more exercise than your legs. They make about 100,000 movements a day. 80s apps would be very different if they had existed back then. Everything would be pixelated and retro. There's a robot called Prayer that writes and recites religious prayers autonomously. It was created as a work of art and a reflection on modern spirituality. Elephants look enormous, but a blue whale's tongue weighs more than them. Rompology is the strange art of reading butts like a crystal ball. A Canada goose has up to 25,000 feathers that keep it warm even in sub-zero temperatures. The door to the Alcabasa monastery was so narrow that it prevented the monks from gaining weight. Obsidian, that volcanic rock, can be sharper than a surgical scalpel. In dental cleanings, they sometimes use special dyes to detect invisible bacteria. A bottle plant has survived since 1960, with its last watering in 1972, and it's still alive. Watching a solar eclipse from the space station is like watching slow-motion magic from the sky. From Everest, you can see the entire Himalayas, as if you were on the roof of the world. The Great Sphinx of Giza does have a tail, although it rarely appears in photos or sculptures. Europa and Ganymede, Jupiter's moons, have more water than Earth, but under icy, poisonous oceans. Real velociraptors were the size of a turkey, but in Jurassic Park, they turned them into terrifying dinosaurs. Pareidolia is the phenomenon that makes you see faces in electrical outlets, clouds. The first McDonald's opened in 1955 and already sold hamburgers on paper, with little change from today's. The worm, a 500-million-year-old sea creature, was the great-great-grandfather of the octopus. The ghost bird camouflages itself so well among trees that it looks like a jungle spirit. Fruit decay in fast motion is like watching a ballet of bacteria and mold in action. When Venus passes in front of the sun, the universe presents us with a spectacle that occurs only once every century. Mosquitoes, en masse, can form swarms that look like hungry zombies behind a net. Anne Hodges was the only person struck by a meteorite in recorded history. Tardigrades are indestructible. They can survive space, freezing, extreme heat. They're almost immortal. Absolute zero is the lowest possible temperature. 459.67 Fahrenheit, where everything stops, even molecular motion. A 1,600-year-old wine bottle was found intact in a Roman tomb in Germany, and it still has liquid in it. John Brower holds the record for the world's heaviest man, estimated to weigh over 1,322 pounds at 37 years old. Snails use 20 muscles to move their ears and hear accurately, like satellite dishes. Pangaea, the supercontinent, united all modern countries on a single mega-island 300 million years ago. Osmia boscata bees make nests with flower petals, as if building colorful cradles for their young. Omphallophobia is the irrational fear of the belly button, and although it sounds strange, it's more common than you think. At the Amsterdam airport, there's a clock that appears to be painted in real time, but it's all a video illusion. The original Superman didn't fly, he only leaped over very tall buildings until animators gave him wings in the 1940s. Elon Musk programmed his first video game when he was just 12 years old and sold it for $500 to a South African magazine. This is the smallest international bridge in the world, which connects Spain and Portugal in just a few steps. Twinkie the balloon dog blew up 100 balloons in just 28.22 seconds, a world canine record. Tom Hanks in Castaway gained 55 pounds for the first part and took a year to lose weight for the second. School buses are yellow because it's the most visible color, even in fog or with vision problems. The phrase, "he's a friend from work" in Thor Ragnarok was the brainchild of a Make-A-Wish kid on set. A Russian albino seal was born with red fur and blue eyes, but is at risk of being rejected by its group. A frozen bird was found in perfect condition, trapped by a cold snap. The crystal-winged butterfly Greta Otto looks like a flying jewel with invisible wings. In 1924, a game of human chess was played in Leningrad with 2 grandmasters and lasted 5 hours. Fourth-generation monarch butterflies live 6 to 8 months, much longer than the others, and spend their time migrating. Sand vipers burrow into the sand to stalk their prey with perfect camouflage. Japan already has a prototype of a flying car, and they want to make it a reality by 2030. The pressure of the heart-pumping blood is so intense that it could launch a jet up to 33 feet. Lucille Randon, a French nun, has lived 117 years, enduring wars, pandemics, and the passage of time. A bear in Ohio entered a house looking for food, reminding us that nature also wants snacks. A wave seen from below is like a curtain of water that collapses with elegance and force. The Egyptians worshipped cats because they associated them with the protection and power of the god Ra. There is a sport that mixes wrestling and juggling, where balance and strategy go hand in hand. Aspen trees develop eye-shaped markings, and no, it's not your imagination. In the 13th century, Europeans drew pictures of African lions and elephants based only on what they heard, and boy were they creative. The bombardier beetle has its own flamethrower. It ejects hot chemicals from its tail when threatened. Sea urchins wear hats with shells and pebbles. Some even accept human props. A statue of Jesus in Poland distributes Wi-Fi to nearby towns thanks to antennas hidden in its crown. The mammoth camera weighed 1,410 pounds and required 15 people to operate it. It only took a single photo. Oklahoma's sewers have maps etched with a dot that shows exactly where you are. A chimpanzee with alopecia revealed the impressive natural musculature of these primates, almost like bald bodybuilders. The steampunk robot clock writes the time every minute, erases it, and rewrites it like moving art. Compared to Saturn's rings, Earth looks like a marble floating among cosmic hula hoops. The Beilong elevator is the tallest outdoor elevator on the planet and is perched between Chinese mountains. An armless player won a game of ping pong using only his mouth and sharp mind. Catatumbo lightning illuminates the Venezuelan sky 260 nights a year like a natural fireworks display. The world's deepest hole, at 7.5 miles deep, would barely touch the Earth's surface if it were an onion. A cross between a rabbit and a hare is impossible. Their chromosomes simply don't want to dance together. Brave little fish hide under jellyfish like walking umbrellas to protect themselves from predators. The group Maytree can imitate all the sounds of windows, video games, and more, using only their voices, entirely a cappella. Retired pilots bid farewell with parades and tributes worthy of heroes of the air. A turbine in Istanbul generates energy from the wind left behind by cars passing by on the road. The first photo of lightning was taken in 1882, and it still leaves us speechless today. Modern LED walls allow you to replace only the damaged part, like a game of technological Tetris. Goosebumps are the result of tiny muscles activated by your emotions or the cold. Daft Punk without helmets was captured in a 1993 photo when they were still humans without a robotic legend. Nauru is the most obese country in the world, with more than 90% of its population above a healthy weight. Niagara Falls in winter partially freezes, creating a landscape that looks like something from another planet. Self-driving car software simultaneously analyzes traffic lights, cyclists, pedestrians, cars, all at the same time. Medieval armor was so flexible that it even allowed you to sit comfortably. No rusty robots. Brown beer bottles were created to protect the flavor from UV rays that altered their freshness. Golf courses struck by lightning leave burnt marks as if Thor had practiced there. A Costa Rican lizard can stay underwater for 16 minutes thanks to an air recycling bubble in its head. The platypus glows green under UV light due to a natural fluorescence phenomenon that few expected in a mammal. The La Nueva Espuela restaurant was the location chosen to launch the Miss Pernil 2016 contest, which seeks out the women with the best legs this national holidays. The first computer mouse, created in 1963, had 2 metal wheels and only 1 button, and it worked. 49% of lost remote controls are found between sofa cushions, although 4% end up in the refrigerator. The red pirate flag meant no quarter. Either surrender immediately or there would be no mercy. Have you noticed that phone drivers ride almost lying down? This helps them cut through the wind and better control the car at top speed. A homemade security trick, replacing the short bolt on your lock with a 4-inch one, significantly strengthens your door. The blades of the largest wind turbines measure more than 328 feet, longer than a football field. Stick bugs, an insect of the genus Phobaeticus, can measure more than 12 inches and live for years. Pure insectoid power. The queen of the termite family can live up to 50 years, much longer than many domestic animals. Bird bones are filled with air, allowing them to fly effortlessly thanks to their lightness. The first flower to grow in space did so on the ISS, marking a turning point in space agriculture. SpongeBob SquarePants has 40 holes, with exact counting by zone, an incredible level of detail for a cartoon. Thomas Deininger's works, seen from a distance, look like paintings, but they are made entirely from recycled trash. King penguin chicks look like angry little kiwis, round, furry, and unfriendly. A single strawberry can have around 200 seeds visible in its skin. It's a reproductive machine. Your body has enough iron to forge a nail and phosphorus to light 2,200 matches. In Germany, they created tattoos that change color based on your glucose or pH. A tattoo that takes care of your health. A goat named Sergeant Bill saved lives in the war by pushing soldiers just before an explosion. The USBs for Freedom campaign sends information from the outside world to North Korea with recycled flash drives. Jackie Chan also sings, and not as a joke. He released more than 20 albums. At a parade in Chile, the Royal Canadian Mounted Dog Patrol was a crowd favorite. The European eagle owl has such a fierce gaze that it looks more like a hawk than an owl when it attacks. Japanese surgeons use origami techniques to improve precision in delicate operations. The face mask has a trick. The blue color goes to you if you're sick, and the white if you don't want to get infected. In Samoa, forgetting your wife's birthday isn't just a mistake, it's a crime. Camels even eat cacti, and they don't even flinch thanks to their tough lips. The southern viscacha always looks sad, but it's just sunbathing while stylishly grooming itself. Crocodiles, when everything freezes, expose only their snouts and go into torpor mode. Newton's tree still exists, firm and green, right where gravity changed history. The pyramids of Egypt were even more majestic thousands of years ago, with coverings that gleamed in the sun. Apples float because they're made of air. Well, 25% air. Intelligent hair exists. The shiniest ones have more zinc and copper in their hair. Some Harry Potter scenes were filmed twice to adapt to British and American English. The fuel icon on your car tells you which side the fuel cap is on if you look closely at the little arrow. Jupiter's Great Red Spot isn't a cosmic dolphin, but a giant storm on the gas planet. Otters have a favorite stone they carry under their arm like a special toy. Furniture of the future could move by itself and adapt with just a wave of your hand. The body of Bernadette Soubirous, who died in 1879, has inexplicably been preserved without decomposition, despite not having been embalmed. Check out this luminous phenomenon in the Hessdalen Valley, Norway, where glowing spheres float in the sky with no definitive scientific explanation. The HMHS Britannic was a sister ship to the Titanic that sank in 1916 due to a sea mine during World War I. Violet Jessup survived the collision of the Olympic, the sinking of the Titanic, and the sinking of the Britannic, showing incredible resilience in the face of maritime tragedies. Nefertiti is an Egyptian queen who has vanished from the records, with theories suggesting she may have ruled disguised as a pharaoh. The lyrebird, an Australian bird, imitates human and natural sounds to attract mates, demonstrating surprising skills. Bagger 293 is the world's largest giant German excavator, used to move vast amounts of earth in mining. The trial of Pope Formosus in the 9th century was a scandalous posthumous trial where a pope was exhumed and tried, a dark and real episode. Space stretch is a phenomenon in astronauts where the spine stretches in zero gravity, temporarily increasing their height. The secret negotiation during the 1962 missile crisis was a clandestine meeting between a Soviet spy and an American journalist that averted nuclear war. The Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird is a missile-proof supersonic spy plane, a symbol of technological innovation during the Cold War. Göbekli Tepe is an 11,600-year-old megalithic temple built by hunter-gatherers that rethinks the origins of civilization. The Mystery Spot in California features optical illusions that alter the perception of gravity and space, baffling its visitors. The Battle of Stalingrad was the bloodiest in history, with nearly 2 million dead, a symbol of resistance and the horror of war. The mystery of the Mary Celeste is a ship found adrift in 1872, crewless and with its cargo intact, whose fate remains a mystery. The Nazca lines in Peru are geoglyphs with mysterious shapes visible only from the air, possibly for astronomical or ritual purposes. Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer who terrorized London in 1888, his identity still unknown. Greek fire was an ancient incendiary weapon capable of burning underwater, used by the Byzantines, with a secret formula lost. The temporary growth spurt occurs when astronauts grow up to 2 inches in space due to spinal expansion, but return to their normal size upon return. To counteract the loss of muscle and bone mass, astronauts perform specific daily exercises on the International Space Station. The hummingbird is the only bird that can fly backward, fly in all directions, and hover in the air, with an extremely accelerated heart rate. Technology exists that can print DNA sequences molecule by molecule, opening up possibilities for creating bacteria with medical and environmental applications. Mansa Musa was the richest emperor in history. He ruled the Mali Empire in the 14th century, and his pilgrimage to Mecca caused an economic crisis due to the devaluation of gold. The Island of the Dolls in Xochimilco, Mexico, is covered with old dolls used to ward off spirits. 4 scientists mysteriously disappeared there in 2017. Crows possess intelligence comparable to that of a 7-year-old child. They use tools, solve complex problems, and recognize human faces. A hidden medieval city in Cambodia, home to nearly 1 million people, was discovered using LIDAR technology, revealing a lost civilization. Gabriel Dawes' plexus works are made of thousands of colored threads that simulate rays of light or rainbows floating in the air. Volcano boarding is an extreme sport where people ride boards down the side of an active volcano. Crinkle-crankle fences in England are wavy, use fewer bricks, and are more stable than a straight wall. Spend a night at Adachi Ryokan, Fukushima, a traditional Japanese inn. Enjoy a secret hot spring that flows like a blue river. McDonald's Hula Burger had pineapple and cheese, but it was a 1960s flop and was removed from the menu. The robot stand can crawl under a car, lift it, and park it autonomously for 20 hours straight. The world's largest pizza measured 13,950 square feet and was donated entirely to charity in Los Angeles. Cat urine glows under ultraviolet light due to a compound called porphyrin, which is useful for detecting invisible stains. Authentic wasabi is extremely expensive and almost impossible to find outside of Japan because it requires very specific conditions. Orcas hunt in teams, using their fins to create waves that pull seals from blocks of ice. The robot Anna was trained to clean real houses, adapting to the size and shape of the spaces in the home. Watch an asteroid impact the moon. It's truly amazing. NASA designed a snake-like robot to search for life in the icy oceans of Saturn's moon Enceladus. Pearls are formed when an oyster covers a foreign body with layers of nacre until it becomes a shiny sphere. The Schmidt Sting Pain Index ranks insect pain from 1 to 4 based on actual stings suffered by its creator. Ostriches are the fastest birds on land and can run at 43 miles per hour to escape predators. Romanesco is a type of broccoli shaped like a fractal, thanks to its perfectly repeating spiral florets. Although uncommon, rabbits can swim using movements similar to those of other mammals when necessary. An Asiana Airlines flight landed successfully after a passenger opened an emergency door at 656 feet in the air. Hyams Beach in Australia has the whitest sand in the world, composed almost entirely of pure quartz. Roboter is an automated chisel that carves marble with such precision that it can replicate classical sculptures almost perfectly. The high heel race is held in countries like Mexico and Russia, where women compete in shoes at least 4 inches high for prizes. Papua New Guinea has more than 850 different languages and is the country with the greatest linguistic diversity on the planet. The Uraba Lugan's caterpillar stores its old exoskeletons and stacks them on its head like hats. The human stomach can store up to 1.6 quarts of food and liquids and processes tens of thousands of pounds in a lifetime. The green codes that appear in the movie The Matrix are actually sushi recipes written in Japanese symbols. Pagani was founded by Horacio Pagani in 1992 and is famous for its exclusive cars handcrafted from carbon fiber. It is easier to study distant planets than the ocean floor due to the extreme pressure and total lack of light at depth. Fleas achieve accelerations of up to 100 g when jumping, faster than a rocket during takeoff. In Canada, they sold bottled hot dog water for $35, promoting it as a product with health benefits. ForPress is the world's first robot ping pong instructor, with artificial intelligence for training and playing. Karen Diner is known for its purposefully rude service and has locations in several countries. The Harpy Eagle measures up to 3.3 feet, weighs 20 pounds, and can lift prey 3 times its own weight. In space, there is no sound because there is no air for it to travel, unless you are inside a suit or spaceship. Antoine Moses planted more than 23,000 trees in just 24 hours and broke a world record for his environmental work. In China, there is a trend where ice cubes are placed on hot coals and served with oil and spices as an appetizer. California hosts the world's ugliest dog contest, and in 2023, the winner is Scooter, a crested Chihuahua. Chongqing, China, has a subway that runs through buildings due to its mountainous terrain and elevated infrastructure solutions. Louis was a 132-year-old lobster who lived in a restaurant for 20 years and was released in 2017, weighing 22 pounds. Plastic bottles begin as small tubes that are heated, molded, and inflated with pressurized air. Caviar comes from sturgeon roe and can cost up to $11,000 per pound, served in tiny portions. Manshiat Nazar in Cairo is a neighborhood whose economy revolves around collecting and recycling the trash of millions of people. In the vacuum of space, a lifeless body decomposes more slowly due to the lack of oxygen and direct sunlight. The squid worm measures 3.5 inches, lives at great depths, and has 10 tentacle-like appendages with a brown, gelatinous body. The succulent Senecio peregrinus has leaves shaped like leaping dolphins and is very popular among fans of rare plants. The H-Zone hovercycle was an experimental mini helicopter from the 1950s that was canceled after 2 test accidents. In extreme cold, the body decreases blood flow to the hands and feet to conserve heat, which can cause tissue freeze. Only 2 flags in the world are purple, Dominica's and Nicaragua's, because it was historically a rare and expensive color. RoboKeeper is a robot goalkeeper that analyzes 90 frames per second and saves balls by calculating their trajectory in real time. McDonald's Japan released an exclusive video game for the Nintendo DS that trained its employees in cooking and customer service. The Anguloa uniflora orchid looks like a cradle with a baby inside and has a pleasant aroma. It grows in mountainous areas of South America. In 1887, Manhattan was lined with overhead telephone cables, but a storm in 1894 forced them to be buried underground. Dubai's Miracle Garden is the world's largest flower garden, with over 109 million flowers. La Rosie is the world's most expensive school, costing around $130,000 a year and boasting luxuries such as a theater, a yacht, and a ski slope. The world's most expensive dress was created in 2009 with over 750 diamonds and an estimated price of $30 million. The domain cars.com was valued at $872 million, making it one of the most expensive in history. Pearlescent clouds have brilliant colors and only form in extremely low temperatures and extremely small ice crystals. All people with blue eyes descend from a single ancestor who lived in the Neolithic period and had a rare genetic mutation. iCam is a webcam shaped like a human eye that blinks, moves, and expresses emotions and is available as open source. Hummingbirds can enter a state of torpor when it's cold or food is scarce, lowering their temperature and heart rate. Microbursts are gusts of air that descend with force from thunderstorms, capable of causing damage similar to that of a mini tornado. Blind people can write on their cell phones using Braille mode, combining touches and gestures to form letters. Some chemotherapy treatments can temporarily erase fingerprints, but they usually return after a few weeks. Roller coaster turns are shaped like a teardrop, not a circle, to prevent riders from experiencing dangerous accelerations. Some whales hug each other with their fins as a show of affection, strengthening their social bonds with this contact. The Rolling Through the Bay sculpture is made from more than 100,000 toothpicks and depicts sights in San Francisco. Masayoshi Matsumoto creates hyper-realistic balloon figures, including marine animals and insects, without using glue or tape. The polar plunge is a challenge where people jump into icy water for fun or for charitable causes, even in Antarctica. Hair turns gray because the body stops producing melanin, which gives hair its natural color. Wellington, New Zealand, is the windiest city in the world, with gusts easily exceeding 17 miles per hour on average. McDonald's in Vietnam has lost popularity because the local food is faster, cheaper, and has flavors more familiar to locals. Erwin Wurm creates inflated car sculptures using foam and styrofoam, achieving soft, surreal shapes. Kelvin Helmholtz clouds look like waves in the sky and form when 2 layers of air move at different speeds. Atlas by Boston Dynamics is a humanoid robot that walks, jumps, and carries objects, and was designed for rescue missions. Neil Harbisson, considered the first cyborg, implanted an antenna in his skull to perceive colors through vibrations. Showering is a creative moment because it relaxes the muscles and eliminates distractions, allowing the mind to flow. Hummingbirds can flap their wings up to 90 times per second, making them the birds with the fastest wing beats in the world. Margaret Ann lived over 110 years and was one of the first people to live in 3 different centuries. The cassowary is the most dangerous bird in the world. It can run at 30 miles per hour and has deadly sharp talons. The flag of Denmark is the oldest in continuous use. According to legend, it was born in a battle in 1219. Starfish can regenerate entire arms, even if only a fragment of their body remains. The Tibetan whitejack survives in cold climates thanks to its dense white fur and hardiness. Chicken Island in Thailand gets its name from a rock that resembles a chicken's head. Ball pits are cleaned by vacuuming up 20,000 balls per hour, which are then washed and returned clean. The Erta volcano in Ethiopia has one of the most impressive permanent lava lakes in the world. The Earth was formed about 4.6 billion years ago by the accumulation of dust and material around the young sun. During World War II, Germany had a secret project called Operation Bernhard, which involved counterfeiting British pounds sterling to weaken the UK economy. In Italy, the Palio di Siena is a famous horse race held twice a year in Piazza del Campo and has deep historical and cultural roots. The Super Bowl is the most watched sporting event in the United States. The first photograph of a person was taken in 1838 by Louis Daguerre in Paris. It shows a street cleaner who stood still long enough to appear in the frame. Kabuki theater is a traditional form of Japanese theater, famous for its elaborate makeup, colorful costumes, and theatrical gestures. The saltwater crocodile is the world's largest reptile, reaching lengths of up to 23 feet and weights of up to 2,200 pounds. The southernmost city in the world is Puerto Williams, Chile, located on Navarino Island, at the southern tip of South America. The first commercially successful video game was Pong, released in 1972 by Atari, a simple table tennis game. In Japan, the Hanami Festival is celebrated, where people gather to contemplate the beauty of cherry blossoms. The porcupine has up to 30,000 quills on its body and can throw them out as a defense against predators. The coelacanth is the oldest known fish. It was thought to be extinct for 66 million years until it was rediscovered in 1938. The Milky Way contains between 100 billion and 400 billion stars. In Japan, there is a technique called kintsugi, where ceramic objects are repaired with gold or silver dust, highlighting their scars as part of their history. The first McDonald's in the Soviet Union opened in Moscow's Pushkin Square in 1990. The bullet ant has the most painful sting of all ant species. Hence, it is also known as the 24-hour ant. The Jackson's chameleon, native to East Africa, has ridges on its body and changes color depending on its emotional state and environment. The Phallus Festival in Valencia, Spain, is a celebration that includes the construction and burning of papier-mâché monuments, fireworks, and parades. Composer Johann Sebastian Bach had 20 children with 2 wives, several of whom also became renowned musicians. The first digital photograph was taken in 1957 by Russell Kirsch in an American laboratory and showed the image of his son. Google's original name was Backrub before changing to the name we know today. The Narmer palette is the oldest known Egyptian artifact, dating to around 3100 BC. Admiral Nelson, after dying at the Battle of Trafalgar, was transported to England in a barrel filled with cognac to preserve his body. In Japan, it is common to give money in decorated envelopes called otoshidama during the new year. South Korea has the world's fastest internet connection, with an average download speed of approximately 26.1 Mbps. The world's heaviest insect is the Hercules beetle, which can weigh up to 4.8 ounces and measure 6.7 inches long. In China, the Dragon Boat Festival is celebrated with decorated boat races and traditional foods in honor of the poet Ku Yuan. Every spring, the Hallerbos forest in Belgium is covered in purple flowers thanks to the massive blooming of hyacinths. India has the largest vegetarian population in the world. Around 30% of its population is vegetarian. In South Korea, there is a festival called the Boryong Mud Festival, where people bathe in sea mud to celebrate its therapeutic benefits. The ancient theater of Epidaurus in Greece is famous for its perfect acoustics, allowing actors to be heard without microphones from any point in the theater. The first known coin was created in Lydia, in present-day Turkey, around 600 BC. The mountain oriole, a Central American bird, builds hanging pouch-shaped nests that hang from tree branches. Kiyomizudera Temple in Japan has a wooden platform that extends over a cliff, offering stunning views without the use of nails in its construction. The island of Borneo is divided between three countries: Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. Indonesia owns 80% of the island. The shortest war in history was between the British Empire and Zanzibar. On August 27, 1896, and lasted just 38 minutes. NASA's Perseverance rover, launched in 2020, is exploring Mars for signs of past and present life. The Venice Carnival is famous for its elaborate masks and elegant costumes evoking bygone eras. On Jeju Island, South Korea, there are stone statues called Dol Harubang, believed to ward off evil spirits. The toadfish is famous for its strange appearance and ability to camouflage itself on the seafloor. Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory, painted in 1931, is famous for its melting clocks, which symbolize the relativity of time. The oarfish is one of the longest bony fish in the world, reaching lengths of up to 36 feet. The Sapporo Snow Festival in Japan is famous for its enormous and detailed snow and ice sculptures, attracting competing artists from around the world. The Great Blue Hole in Belize is a circular underwater sinkhole approximately 984 feet in diameter and 407 feet deep. The world record for eating the most hot dogs in a 10-minute contest is held by Joey Chestnut with 62 hot dogs. In Australia, there is a fence called the Dingo Fence that stretches over 3,480 miles, making it the longest in the world. Its purpose is to protect livestock from wild dingoes. In Iceland, there is a dating app called the Íslendinga app that helps Icelanders avoid incestuous relationships by checking if they share distant ancestors. The bulldog ant has the strongest jaws of any animal relative to its size and can generate forces equivalent to more than 500 times its body weight. Newborn pandas are so small they are lighter than a teacup. The brown bat is known for being the longest-lived mammal in proportion to its size, living up to 41 years. The dugong, a sea cow-like animal, is a herbivorous marine mammal found in tropical waters. It feeds primarily on seagrass and can weigh up to 880 pounds. The chance of a person being struck by lightning at some point in their life is approximately 1 in 3,000. In Hawaii, hula is a traditional dance that combines rhythmic gestures with song and music to tell stories and preserve Hawaiian culture. The San Juan Fire Dance in Spain is a traditional celebration marking the summer solstice with bonfires, music, and dancing. Dogs have a sense of smell at least 10,000 times sharper than humans. Luva, a 50,000-year-old mammoth calf, was found so well preserved she appears to be asleep. An earthquake-resistant bed locks like a safe and holds water, food, and a rescue signal. Ben Allen created a giant 12-foot NES controller. It takes 2 people just to play. Cleopatra married her brothers to maintain power. Although she was an Egyptian queen, she was of Greek blood. The bionic bee is a robotic bee that can pollinate in emergencies. High-tech flight. Fontis is a brilliant bottle for cyclists that converts moisture from the air into drinking water using solar energy. In Granada, many people live in caves, cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Natural insulation. In 2000, Yahoo tried to buy Google for just $1 million, but they turned it down. An epic business fail. Lola Roy, a French woman, does extreme parkour and leaps 52 feet across buildings. She's almost flying. Scott Burner broke a record by driving in reverse at 56 miles per hour for 1,320 feet. His maneuver was recorded as the fastest reverse. In the Netherlands, at the Corpus Christi Museum, you can enter a giant human body and navigate it as if you were a cell with a GPS. Canada created an invisibility cloak called Quantum Stealth. It works in normal and infrared light, almost like in Harry Potter. Schneider composes songs using the sounds of his washing machine's buttons. It turns each cycle into a homemade electronic melody. Uber offers helicopter rides at special events in certain cities, an aerial alternative to avoid extreme traffic. Michael Tolodos lived 82 years without seeing a woman. Isolated in a monastery, he spent his entire life on a sacred mountain in Greece. Priscilla Dunstan deciphered universal baby sounds like nay or G. She claims they indicate hunger, discomfort, or other needs. Luke Jerram created a 23-foot scale moon for museums. It accurately reproduces the actual lunar surface. Owls camouflage themselves by stretching their bodies to resemble thin branches. This trick helps them evade predators. The quad stick allows you to play video games using only your mouth. It's ideal for people with limited hand mobility. A drummer practices rhythms on the street using buckets. He turns everyday objects into percussion instruments. The Godfather's cat wasn't in the script. Marlon Brando found it on set and included it in the scene. Green ooglicine bees look like flying jewels. They live in Central America and pollinate exotic orchids. Pearlfish hide inside the rectum of sea cucumbers for protection. They use this hiding place to evade marine predators. Hypertrichosis causes extreme hair growth, like a werewolf. It's a rare genetic condition. There's a garbage island in the Pacific that's bigger than many countries. And yes, there are 4 others. Shaozhai-Tiankang in China is the deepest sinkhole in the world, 2,172 feet to the Earth's center. Cell phones have up to 30 times more bacteria than a toilet. Time to clean that screen. The jaguarundi is a cat that looks like an otter and sounds like a bird. A curious creature. Alex Roca completed a marathon with a 76% disability. His achievement inspired thousands of athletes. A McDonald's in New Zealand has a real airplane as a dining room. It offers a unique experience. Ruellia tuberosa seeds explode upon contact with water. They disperse to germinate in new places. Your head generates around 70,000 thoughts per day, a constant mental storm. At Disney California Adventure, Mickey's Fun Wheel has sliding cabins. They move like pendulums as the wheel spins. Hungary issued the highest denomination paper currency in history, a $100 trillion Pingo banknote in 1945. Ray is a unicorn dog. She lost one ear and the other migrated to the center of her head. She is unique. The movie Ratatouille is named after a French stew of baked vegetables. The title has a double meaning. The controlled implosion causes a building to collapse inward like a sandcastle, all thanks to a choreography of explosives. The anteater's tongue can measure up to 2 feet. It is designed to trap thousands of ants in seconds. In 2003, Bionicle saved Lego financially. It was its biggest sales success and saved the company from bankruptcy. Madagascar is home to the fossa, the island's largest carnivore. It has an elegant silhouette and graceful movements. Kombucha is a fermented drink made from sweetened tea and a colony of bacteria and yeast known as a SCOBY. Andrea Love creates animations with felt characters using stop motion. Each scene is pure tenderness and artisanal creativity. Valentina Vassilieva gave birth to 69 children in the 17th century, including 16 pairs of twins, 7 triplets, and 4 quadruplets. A unique feat, the Lumi watch projects the screen directly onto your skin. It doesn't have a physical screen, but you can interact with it as if it were a cell phone. Cano Lopez is a master builder specializing in vaulted staircases. His ancient technique is a work of art. At the San Andres Cholula Kite Festival, the sky is filled with flying art. Paper giants conquer the air every year. The large mechanical elephant of Nantes walks elegantly among the people. It measures 39 feet, weighs 52 tons, and is powered by hydraulic legs. Ekaterina Sisoeva creates 3D cars and paintings that appear to leap off the canvas. At just 24 years old, she is revolutionizing three-dimensional art. Fire extinguishing balls are devices containing a chemical agent that is activated by fire. They generate a controlled explosion that efficiently extinguishes the flames. Ivan Zivkovich is a photographer specializing in insect macro photography. He captures hidden worlds in every image. Lucas da Silva, known as Coach Blue, is a U.S. Marine and a trainer specializing in bodybuilding and calisthenics. Arcax is a humanoid robot developed by Subame Industries. It measures 14.8 feet tall and weighs 3.86 short tons. It can perform multiple tasks. Zeus, the blind owl, has eyes that resemble galaxies. Although he can't see, his gaze is mesmerizing. The Koenigsegg Jesko Attack Odin is a hypercar with 1,600 horsepower. It has 24-karat gold details and an absolutely luxurious design. A flamethrower tractor removes weeds using controlled fire. A powerful rural tool. The deep dive pool in Dubai is the deepest in the world at 197 feet. It holds 3.7 million gallons of water and is an impressive sight. There is a museum of failure in Sweden where products that were commercial failures are displayed. Every mistake tells a curious story. An engineer created a bicycle made entirely of wood. It works and you can ride on the street. Cows have best friends and they get stressed if they are separated. They have much stronger social ties than you might think. A Slovenian sculptor created a copper sculpture of a 2,204-pound drop of water. It represents the importance of water resources. A Bosnian artist named Jasenko Djordjevic carves hyper-realistic sculptures from the tips of pencils. He uses a magnifying glass and tiny tools. In Germany, there is a bridge that is also an aqueduct. It allows ships to cross over a highway filled with cars. It's called the Magdeburg Aqueduct Bridge. Kangaroos can't walk backward. The slowest train in the world is the Glacier Express in Switzerland. It crosses the Alps with spectacular scenery at just 24 miles per hour. A cat was honorary mayor for 20 years in a town in Alaska. His name was Stubbs, and he was much loved by the locals. In Japan, there is a toilet museum that displays historical and futuristic designs for something we use every day without thinking. Human DNA and banana DNA share a 60% similarity. Bats always turn left when leaving a cave, according to studies analyzing their behavior. In Australia, there is a mountain called Pancake Mountain because of its layered formation that resembles stacks of pancakes. In Japan, there is a hotel staffed almost entirely by robots. From the front desk to room service, the automation is complete. Worker termites never sleep. They work 24 hours a day, their entire lives, without a break. Goats have rectangular pupils, giving them panoramic vision to detect predators in mountainous terrain. Lightning can heat the air to temperatures 5 times higher than the surface of the sun. The YouTube channel Yeso Habana specializes in plaster work, showcasing techniques such as relief art and adhesive plaster decoration. Zip stitch is a medical device that acts as an alternative to traditional stitches. It consists of an adhesive system with adjustable straps, providing a quick and less invasive way to close wounds. The bearded vulture throws bones from high above to break them and eat the marrow. A scavenger with techniques worthy of a rustic chef. Fola David Tolaram, a Nigerian doctor and artist, created the largest single drawing. His message, unity in diversity, was rendered stroke by stroke. Storelgen in Norway is a 33-foot steel moose that shines like a mirror. In addition to being imposing, it helps prevent road accidents. See Big Boy, the world's largest circus elephant. The self-propelled modular transporter is a modular vehicle used to transport extremely heavy loads. It can be controlled remotely or through a booth, making it essential in heavy industry. Esperance Luminesca, an Army veteran, holds the record for the most tattoos and modifications. In curling, ice isn't just about cleaning, it's pure strategy. Players change the course of the stone with each precise stroke. The red banana has a sweeter taste than the traditional yellow one. Branding with liquid nitrogen is a modern and less painful method for cattle. Machi Kurin is famous for having the world's longest legs. One measures over 4.43 feet. Did you know who the world's youngest billionaire is? Kylie Jenner. The Gouldian finch is an exotic Australian bird with plumage that looks hand-painted. Its vibrant colors of blue, orange, and green make it one of the most beautiful of its species. Did you know there is a green sand beach? It's Papacola Beach in Hawaii. Automatic car sunshades unfold like a giant umbrella. Afshin Esmail Ghaderzadeh is only 2 feet 1.3 inches tall and is the shortest man in the world. The mechanical golden horse is a sculpture that simulates a real gallop. It combines precision engineering with moving visual art. Shaquille O'Neal has hands so large they can completely cover an adult head. His feet are a US size 23, which is about 14.6 inches long. The PillCam is a pill-sized capsule that takes photos of the digestive tract when swallowed. It is a painless alternative to traditional endoscopies. The images are transmitted to an external device in real time. The Budapest tumbler pigeons have enormous eyes that look like something out of a cartoon. David Grunges transforms scrap metal into stunning sculptures. His art combines recycling, creativity, and an ecological message. Can you imagine swimming in a pool 492 feet high with a glass floor? It exists. It's in Houston, and it's called Sky Pool. There are dogs trained as lifeguards capable of jumping from helicopters into the sea to rescue people. There's a robot called Prayer that writes and recites religious prayers autonomously. It was created as a work of art and a reflection on modern spirituality. And that's it for these impressive facts that surely left you speechless. Which one surprised you the most? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss anything we have at Zarpado.